All right, this video is going to cover the 5.2. First of all, I'm going to talk about the 5.1, the answers, because that's what we did in class. You should have that paper handy. It's right on the back of the 5.2. Number 7 is 145. Number 8 should be 90. Number 9 should be 25. Excuse me. Number 9 should be 25. Number 12, okay, not 11, 12 should be 67. 13, 156, 156. And 14 should be 12. So you should have all those answers from what we did in class. What I want you to do is I want you to look at 5.2. This is what we did in class today. I want you to pause the video and take a couple of minutes and go through and see if you can match up 1 through 14. So do that quickly and I'll come back and I'll give you all the answers and see how you did. It's all about symbolism and you've got to understand what the symbols mean, because if you don't, you're going to be lost. In doing so, and these are not the correct answers, by the way. If you want to put what you think is next to it, that way when I cover the answers you can put what the actual answer is in the blank, you can do so. But 3, 7, 10, 11, and 9, I put those up here on the board because they're hard to read. It's a bad copy. GH is number 3. GH with arrows on either end is 7. GH with no arrows. GH with an arrow on one side. And number 9 is just a little squiggly line. So pause it and try. All right, number 1, F is in Foxtrot. Number 2, J is in Juliet. 3, N is in November. 4, H is in Hector. 5 is K is in Kilo. 6 is L is in Lima. 7, P is in Papa. 8 is B is in Bravo. 9, M is in Mike. 10, D is in Delta. 11, E is in Echo. 12, C is in Charlie. 13 is G is in Golf. And 14 is A as in Alpha. And it's important that you understand what those symbols are, because those symbols are very helpful. Now, the one problem that I want to cover today in class, and I'm just going to be basic, you need to make sure you label this as well, is just look at your triangle and then look at what you are given. You are given that the measure of angle C is equal to 90 degrees. So if you're given that, if it's not labeled in your triangle, label it. Put the little elbow in there, as somebody likes to call it. Right? Put the elbow in there. So now I physically see that that's 90 degrees. It says, come up with a plan and justify your answer. Well, how do I know what this is? Well, how do I come up with a plan? Well, first of all, I need to stop and look at what it is and what I have. I have one angle that's 90. I have one side that is expressed as X. This side we know as a leg. Okay, that's AC. CB is another side. It's 10 centimeters. That's obvious because it's labeled 10. It is also a leg. And I have another side that is 26. This other side that's 26 we call the hypotenuse, and I will abbreviate it HYP for short. We need to know that these are legs and that's the hypotenuse. Most of you recognize the hypotenuse is always the longest side in a triangle. Yes, it is. That's going to come into play a little bit later. Make sure you understand the difference between the legs and hypotenuse. As we get into basic trig, you will need to understand the difference. Is it a leg? Is it a hypotenuse? Is it a leg? Is it a hypotenuse? How do we solve a right triangle given two sides of a triangle and we want to know the third? Well, you've seen this before already, but you may not remember what it's called. This is called the Pythagorean theorem. This is my plan that I'm going to use. This is not the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. No, it's not. It's the formula for the Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem itself states that if I take the two legs of a triangle and I square them and add them together, that is equal to the hypotenuse squared. That's what the Pythagorean theorem is. So we're just going to go ahead and do this. The first thing I'm going to do is substitute. Legs are A and B. So x squared plus 10 squared is equal to the hypotenuse, or 26 squared. What is my justification for doing that? Substitution. That's all I did was substitute. And in fact, I'm just going to go ahead and draw a line because all my justification is going to be over here. The next thing I'm going to do is square everything. what I can at least. I can't square x squared because I don't know what it is, but I can square 10 and I can square 26. Get your calculator out and back me up. It should be 656, no, 676 is what it should be, 676, right? And what did I do there? All I did was simplify. I simplified by squaring. The next step is minus 100 from each side. So I get x squared equals 576, and my justification for that is subtraction property of equality. Okay? Subtraction property of equality. How do I go from x? Well, think about what this statement is. X squared equals 576. What this statement is saying is it's saying what number times itself is 576? Well, I can take the square root of x squared, the square root of x squared. Anytime I have two of the same thing underneath the radical, I can remove one of it. Okay? And at this point, we've seen this before. It looks very familiar, considering we just got done dealing with the quadratic formula. This is either going to be a whole number or it's going to be a radical or a decimal. If it's a whole number, great, which the square root of 576 is 24. If it's a decimal, I just make it a decimal. That's fine. And what did I do? I took the square root of both sides. That's my justification. Square rooted both sides. My answer is 24. And the last thing we need to do is we need to look and compare this answer to our triangle that we physically can see. Why? Why do we do that? Because we want to check for reasonableness of an answer. X is 24. Is that a reasonable value? Well, the hypotenuse is 26. This side is less than 26. It's 24. The answer is reasonable. We will work on, it looks like it's 1, 2, and 3, but it's actually 11, 12, and 13 next week. Enjoy your weekend.